Welcome back, viewers, to the PI show. It's that famous or fantastic time of the show when we're doing Viv's mailbag, but this week it's going to be brought to you by Cathys Question. So we've got an interchange bench. Last week it was Beth, this week it's Cathy. Welcome aboard, Cathy.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers, and I'm sure that you're all missing Viv as we are, but I hope that I can bring the mailbag some justice as well.
Thanks. We'll just first question.
Let's move straight into it, and today we're going to go to the first question, which is anonymous, to the PI show. I watch the show often and I'm a huge fan. Thank you very much. Recently, I saw an episode about the Victims of Crime Assistance Act, and I think my friend may have a claim. My friend's mum was in an abusive relationship, and recently the boyfriend was charged and found guilty of assault. Does my friend have a potential claim for pain and suffering because she saw the abuse over a period of months? Does her mum also have a claim? I look forward from hearing from you. Now, just before I move on to you, Harry, to answer that question, for those of viewers who actually missed that show, you can catch it on the website, which is pishow.com. And Harry, please enlighten us with the answer.
No. Look, it's a good question because the mother obviously does have a claim. She's the victim of a crime. You've got to put an application in under the Act, and that's a relatively straightforward case because she can put in a medical report. She might have got treatment. She may have lost some money. So all those things can be claimed under the Victims of Crime Act.
That's correct.
Goes before a magistrate, and that's the first option. Secondly, in theory, she can sue the assailant for what's called an intentional tort. An assault is assault and battery, so she can sue for pain and suffering. But Tony, you've got views about whether she can sue or not in terms of practicalities.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a bum, this bloke, so I don't think he's got any money. Am I allowed to say
Well,
that?
you don't know. He might be young, old, he might be a millionaire. I mean, if there's money there, if he's got assets, she can sue. Yep. And get a judgment, and she can sue for pain and suffering.
But is it true, Harry, that under the Victims of Crime Assistance Act, it's only a small monetary value that you may be able to recover?
Harry's talking about common law, and if you sue a common law, in this case, because it's an intentional tort, you don't need the 5 or 10% barriers.
Right.
Harry, so.
Yeah.
Well,
so she can get substantial damage to common law. Victims of crime, the pain and suffering limit is very small. I think from memory,
it's up to about $7,500, I think. That's
a maximum, $7,500. So it's a very modest amount.
Yeah.
Now, her other friend who witnessed the crime probably also has a claim, but you've got to have some medical material to demonstrate that the person who witnessed a crime is suffering from some medical condition.
Okay.
And Harry, getting back to that issue about suing the boyfriend, the thing is this, an order's good for 15 years. So if they did get a court order, they could execute and get, they could execute the order in 15 years' time, so...
So there's a potential.
Potential. He might come at the money in the future.
He might win Tats Lotto.
Who knows?
Okay. But
well, we hope
or he
that
might
that's
come
answered
good,
your
turn
question.
a corner.
Yeah.
We hope that's answered your question. Moving on to the question from Cassie, who is from Ivanhoe. Cassie states to us, my grandma lives alone, and for 10 years she had the companionship of a pet dog. A few months ago, when my grandma and her dog were crossing the road, a car that was way over the speed limit was unable to stop on time and hit them both. While my grandma only sustained minor physical injuries, she now suffers from anxiety and panic attacks, in particular because of the death of her dog. Though the car did not stop, a witness did manage to get the car's number plates. Does my grandma have a claim against the driver? Hope to hear from you. Well, Cassie,
yeah, I think the answer is yes.
Tony will help you with this one.
You do have a claim, and what you've got to do is lodge a claim form to cover your no-fault benefits, which is made up of medical expenses and also any other associated expenses, maybe home help and things like that.
That's right.
But also, I would have thought that if the injury is serious, if she suffers a long-term severe behavioural or psychiatric disturbance, she'll be entitled to sue for common law damages.
But it's a primary psychiatric injury, so it's got to arise from the trauma of the actual injury.
I'm not really sure if that's necessary.
I think that's right, Tony.
No, because she was there.
right.
She actually.
No, but it's primary trauma.
Yeah.
It's trauma from the actual circumstances of the injury. It's not secondary to a physical injury down the track.
But your grandmother, Cassie, though, definitely has rights under statutory benefits.
Well, look, it's
and will
one
be
that you'd have to
indemnified.
you go and get some proper advice because
Legal
I
advice.
think there's a claim there, and depending on the extent of the damage, you've probably got to wait a bit. You just can't do it overnight. It's probably something that you wait and see what happens.
Yeah, but she's an elderly grandmother, so you'd
You'd wait
act
at least
fairly
18
prudently
months,
though.
12 to 18 months, I think.
And I think the way I look at it, she's got a primary psychiatric injury arising from that accident. I mean, the dog, pet dog was killed. So, but it arises in the circumstance of a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's got a reasonable claim at common law myself.
I think so too.
Yeah. Okay. But seek legal advice.
Definitely, always good.
Yeah.
Moving on now, we've got Mark in Hampton who writes to us. Hello, I work as a bricklayer and a couple of months ago severely injured my hand at work. I was injured because a pile of 4 bricks that was not properly secured fell on my hand. According to the doctors, I've broken many bones and it is likely that I will continue to suffer extreme pain for a long time. I have lodged a work cover claim, but do I have a claim in negligence? Thanks, Mark.
Sounds like a ripper case to me.
Well-
Unsafe system of work, many broken bones in the hand. No,
And it wasn't
I'd love to,
secure,
I'd love to
Tony.
do this. Yeah, well, that's what I said at the start. I'd love to do this case. And then you've got to look at what this guy can and can't do in the future, Harry. So I think negligence is pretty strong because it's an unsafe system of work.
Subject to this, Tony, doesn't quite explain who was responsible for putting the bricks up. If he was responsible for doing it, then they weren't secure and they
Yeah, but
fell.
you've still got to
There's
give him-
contributory negligence.
Yeah, there is. But I
So-
think the employer's still got to make sure that the place is safe. You've got to have safe work practices. You just can't let your workers out there and do whatever they like. You've got to have give them some sort of guidance and instruction.
But they might have done that and he might be responsible for the system of work. So again, negligence is a prima facie arguable case. Secondly, is it a long-term injury? Is he going to recover?
Well, Harry, many
So
broken bones
that-
in a hand, it sort of doesn't sound good.
That's the other issue.
Yeah.
And the other third issue, which I think is very important, is you have to look at your superannuation benefits. He should be a member of CBUS, which is a super scheme.
He's probably a member of IncoLink as well, which is a
And IncoLink
substantial benefit.
has trauma cover and also a top up for his wages.
Yep.
So if he's a member of those funds, then he gets extra benefits because they're important independently of work cover. They're important benefits for people to look at.
That's
We've
right.
come out of time of the show, guys.
That's right. Mark, we hope that's answered your question. Please seek legal advice on that.
Yes.
Well, they've got to keep sending in the
That's right. And
questions,
obviously
I think.
the
We
facts
enjoy it.
as well are always important. So we do appreciate your comments, viewers, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, viewers. Stay tuned.
See you next week.
Next week.